I mean, we have more than, you can't have 2,600 containers sitting there as a business. No business will thrive. It's our business. If we run business and we are shareholders, there's absolutely no way we'll contain such misconduct. And that is why it is important that investigations go on. The Chief of Staff has directed that inventory should be taken of all the contents of these containers, so that it will help with the investigations that the security services are carrying out.
Mr. Roxon, you're a lawyer as well, and I'm sure you're aware that the former MD for the ECG, Dubik Mahama, for instance, has contested some of the claims coming from the Energy Ministry as well. How do you react to, the stance and really moving forward, the kind of revelations that are coming out now?
I mean, it's unfortunate. I feel like if I'm a lawyer, I have my own opinion on some of these things. And then it's best that we allow the agencies to do its work. But so far, even with procurement breaches, whether they had authorization and some of the issues that have come up, are matters that definitely the security agencies are interested in. If you have approval for $1 billion and you spend 8.3 billion, whether or not that authorization you had or not, that is something that investigations are conducted. It will be out for all matters to know. So we are counting on the Attorney General. The Minister expressly wrote to the Attorney General, and we hope that very soon the Attorney General will tell us the way forward.
Thank you very much. We'll have to end it here. Richmond Roxon there. He speaks for the Ministry of Energy, and we'll bring you more as and when we have it. Some 15 minutes past the hour of 12. When we come back, we'll bring you some more, and also the analysis I told you regarding the Chief Justice's supplementary affidavit. Don't go away.
Ghana, it's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596 920 833 or 0302 200 390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
And you're still here on the Midday News on 3FM 92.7, 17 minutes past the hour of 12. Let's return to our story about that supplementary affidavit filed by the Chief Justice and the subsequent response from the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine. We are joined by private legal practitioner Francis Aban. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex, not Francis.
Alex, okay. Thank you very much. I'm wondering whether you've seen the affidavit from the Chief Justice, and then we'll further go to the response from the Attorney General. What's your initial reaction to it?
I saw snippets of it. I have not read.
All right, so let me just run you through briefly. She talks about denial of basic right, where she says that she and her lawyers were barred from using phones or laptops during hearings, while petitioners' counsel retained full access. She talks about invasive searches, where she underwent searches and denied family support, unprecedented venue, why the Osu Council was chosen instead of the court complex as applied to other Article 146 proceedings, also procedural irregularities where petitioners were allowed to avoid testifying in person, rather relying on witnesses, and a few other stuff that she talks about.
Okay, let me start from the last one. If you are talking about the petitioners not testifying in person, I do not know if such hearings, in terms of abusing evidence, whether it is different from all other hearings that we have, because the law has always been that it is not compulsory for a plaintiff. So in this case, we are just replacing the plaintiff with the petitioner to testify personally. And we believe that this was the same principle that was used during the time that we were doing the electoral commissioner, the electoral hearings, or the petition, when Jean Mesa refused to take the stand. Okay, so if you have persons who can duly testify, I believe that satisfies the law. So I would not want to put so much weight on that.
So you don't think that the AG has the CJ has a case with this point?
Because this has always been the law, that a petitioner, okay, or a plaintiff, let us use the generic word to stand for all people who initiate processes, court processes. A plaintiff is not under any legal obligation to testify in his own case. And so, for instance, there have been many, many cases where somebody may have probably bought a piece of land or done something in his name. But probably he himself does not even have a lot of information about the process of acquiring it and all that, and who led in getting the land and all that. And so you can sue in the name of that person, yet the person who takes the stand and mounts the witness box to testify on behalf of the plaintiff may be different from the plaintiff himself. And so if that is anything to go by, then my thinking is that we should not belabor such a point, because it is not offending any rule of law as we know it.
How then, Lawyer Alex Aban, how then do you interpret the description of the CJ in this instance where she says that the petitioners, in fact, let me start from a bit, where she says denial of access into the hearing room for my husband and children, searches on my body, denial of access to telephones and laptops for myself and my lawyers, and says that the conduct of hearing itself in a high security zone at the premises of the Castle Osu show a deliberate effort to subject me to mental torture and degrading treatment in violation of my fundamental human rights, and goes on to say that the persistent violations of her constitutional rights show the whole proceedings initiated against her are a mockery of justice and a ruse to unjustifiably remove her from office as Chief Justice. How do you interpret these descriptions?
I am on record publicly to say that the grounds on which the state or this whole process has been set in motion are not weighty enough. In fact, I went to the extent of saying that even you cannot even remove a judicial president with these things. But this is something political, so we can just forget about that and move on. But as far as the hearing is concerned, I share some of her concerns, because if we look at Article 17 and Article 23, which deals with equality before the law, it also has to do with equality of treatment, right? And if we look at Article 296, it also talks about treating everybody fairly without any ill will or malice or something like that. And so if all other parties who come in have access to things like phones, laptops, and all that, but she is denied, then I think that is actually a travesty of justice.
Having made that admission, others think that perhaps the Chief Justice is not conducting herself well in this whole process. Do you disagree with them?
I don't think the Chief Justice would conduct herself any less nicely than the way I know her. So anybody who says that the Chief Justice is misconducting herself may have to bring proof. Because I'm speaking as a person. I've known her for many years. I have actually conducted cases before her. I've won cases in her court. I've lost cases in her court. Right? And she has always been very, very fair in the way she conducts herself. And so it will come to me as a huge surprise that within this short period, her normal demeanor would quickly change for the worse. I doubt it.
The AG obviously but what you?
Yes, but what I'm saying is that if indeed there are these searches and all that, I think we should leave out some of these excesses and deal with the issue of the facts or the allegations before the committee.
Let me ask you my last question.
In fact, if you look at Article 196, Clause 10, I think it is Clause 8. It is Clause 8 that says that these proceedings should be held in camera. As at now, there has not been any definitive judicial pronouncement on whose protection this is meant to be.
Don't forget as well that Article 146, I believe from 6 to 10 also talk about in camera as well.
Yes. And I'm saying that whether it is for the protection of the person who is the subject of the investigations, or it is to protect the sanctity of the whole process. Mind you, the position has always been that in any proceedings, except probably for matrimonial issues, all other proceedings are supposed to be in public. And that is the default.
You have to pardon me. We're running out of time. I just want to get this response from you. What do you make of the AG's response? Saying, for instance, one of the main points the AG says is that in-camera hearing is a constitutional command geared at safeguarding not only the CJ but the entire judiciary. It can therefore not be waived. He goes on to also talks about the request of the CJ to remove the justices, Justice Adu as well as Kwaman from the panel.
Let me talk about the first one. The first one being that the in-camera thing is a constitutional mandate or constitutional command. That is true. But the point is that we have not had any judicial pronouncement on it, as I was saying earlier, whether it is for the protection of that person or for the sanctity of the entire proceedings.
So that's something that must be reviewed.
So whatever the Attorney General has said is his opinion.
I'm sorry, we'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. Lawyer Alex Aban, private legal practitioner. Thank you so much for sharing those views with us. Now, the Ghana Health Service has confirmed 10 new cases of Mpox, bringing the number of cases to 19. Now, the health authorities say that 5 persons are currently on admission with no death recorded yet. Although the numbers of confirmed cases of the disease keep rising, health authorities maintain there's no cause for alarm. The new confirmed cases are from the northern, western and the Greater Accra regions. Training on Mpox for teaching and regional hospitals is currently ongoing in Koforidua in the eastern region, while contact tracing is still ongoing. Dr. Dennis Lai is Deputy Director in charge of disease surveillance at the Ghana Health Service. He joins us live on the phone. Doc, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon to you, and thank you for having me.
What more can you tell us about these new cases and whether or not they are relatable?
Well, thank you very much. I think that we love the engagements we're having with the media and with the general population as far as the issue of this outbreak of Mpox is concerned. And so we would want to thank you all for the opportunity. Now, we've confirmed cases in 6 regions so far, the new regions being the Volta, Bono, Northern and Western North regions. And as you rightly said, we've not reported any deaths. Mpox is a disease that doesn't kill as much as other diseases of public health concern that we may be thinking of, like Ebola and the likes. But be that as it may, it doesn't mean that it's not something we should be concerned about. It's a disease that spreads easily, and so we should be focused on measures to prevent spread amongst confirmed cases. For us in the health system, our key objective is to identify cases and promptly manage them to prevent further spread. And key to this is for the public to know about how it is spread and how they can be able to help us to identify and deal with the cases that we record.
We'll have to end it here with you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dennis Lai, Deputy Director in charge of disease surveillance at the Ghana Health Service. Now, before we go, Parliament is resuming today after the Easter recess. The Speaker reconvened the House for the second sitting of the first session of the 9th Parliament, and we'll be bringing you more as regard what is transpiring in the House in our subsequent bulletins. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Log on to ShriNews.com for more news. My name is Beatrice Adu. Good afternoon.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7 with me, Michael Obodu. Coming up, President John Dramani Mahama calls for price reductions amid cedi appreciation.
Cedi's appreciation by reducing prices of your products and services and thereby passing some of the relief from the hardship to Ghanaians.
Also, Online Drivers Union says digital ride-hailing fares will not be reduced despite public transport cuts. And much later in the bulletin, Ghana service producer price inflation dips to 5.9% in April 2025. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And President John Dramani Mahama has called on the business community in Ghana to implement price reductions for goods and services, reflecting the significant appreciation of the Ghana cedi against major international currencies. The president's appeal comes amid a period of notable strengthening to the cedi, which has seen impressive gains against the US dollar, the British pound, and the euro in recent months. The positive currency performance has led to reduced costs for importers and businesses that rely on foreign inputs.
The president praised the cedi performance, urging companies to reduce their prices to reflect the gains.
Let me take the opportunity to commend those of you who have responded to the cedi's appreciation by reducing prices of your products and services and thereby passing some of the relief from the hardship to Ghanaians.
Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Johnson Isiama, dispelled suggestions that the Bank of Ghana was supporting the cedi rise with its reserves.
The Central Bank is not, and the not is in capital letters. The Central Bank is not using its international reserves to support the cedi, nor are we engineering an appreciation in the cedi that will not be sustainable. It's all market-driven, and the strengthening of the currency reflects a blend of disciplined monetary policy tailored forex auction reforms, enhanced remittance channels, and stricter market surveillance.
You heard the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Isiama, ending that report. Now, users of popular digital ride-hailing and service delivery services like Uber, Bolt, and Yango will not benefit from the recent 15% reduction in public transport fares, the Ghana Online Drivers Union GODU announced, citing a lack of stakeholder engagement, regulatory oversight, and fundamental differences in service structure. Let's hear from the president of the association, Francis.
The 15% reduction in the fares in our sector, the digital sector, for users of Uber, Bolt, Yango, delivery services will not be effective on us. The union was not engaged in any meeting, any dialogue. We don't know what is happening. So it will be difficult for us to support it. We are pleading with the general public, please don't fight with drivers when the fare is not being reduced for you. We don't fight the riders. We have Uber, Bolt, and Yango. These are companies. And so our concern is that any meeting as such, they should involve us and then we all come together to agree on a specific price that will benefit all parties. And aside that, there's no regulation in our sector. And we hope that this time around, the Minister for Transport, the sector minister, will be bold enough for us to have regulations so that in future, any such directives will be obliged to. In any case, should Uber, Bolt, and Yango go ahead to reduce or come up with any fares without any dialogue, we will advise ourselves, then we just have to do strike and also switch to other competitors.
That was President of the Ghana Online Drivers Union, Francis Tenge, ending that report. Now, financial analyst Nelson Kujo-Kwagbeji has kicked against projections that the cedi will end the year by at most 15 Ghana cedis against the dollar. This comes despite the local currency appreciating by over 20% against the US dollar since the start of the year. Fitch Solutions and ABSA had projected that the currency will close the year at around 15 Ghana cedis as it will reset after the appreciation. But speaking on Business Focus on TV3, financial analyst Mr. Kwagbeji stressed that the currency will end the year at most at 12 Ghana cedis. Here's why.
I don't really know the basis upon which they are making these projections. Well, I think I overheard the Fitch guy saying that because government is yet to start, paying contractors and servicing our debt, once we get to that side, the trend will reverse sharply. But I think that the politics of foreign currency in this country is a huge one. No government will make such a gain, reducing it from about 16% to about 11%, and then sit aloof and allow the exchange rate to move from 11 or whichever percentage to 14 or 15 by the close of the year. But we are just about finishing the second quarter, and we'll be left with 6 months more to go. If government is able to sustain the momentum that we have now, as Doc said, and work on the supply side of issues, I don't think we will be hitting 14 Ghana cedis by the end of the year. In fact, per our own research that we have done, the dollar may be trading around between the band of 11 to 12 Ghana cedis by the end of the year.
You had the financial analyst and tax expert Nelson Kujo-Kwagbeji speaking there. Meanwhile, reacting to the statement, Dr. Eric Beatrice Adu, financial analyst with the University of Professional Studies, Accra, agrees that the cedi will end the year at most at 12 Ghana cedis. However, he stressed the need for the government to sustain the fundamentals to ensure this feat.
You see, Michael, we've had this situation before. You remember 2017 where there was Kenke Party, the city has been arrested and people go jubilating. No, we've been here before. This is not the first time that we've had some level of stability and even appreciation of the city. What I want the government to focus on is to address the fundamentals and not doing window dressing by injecting more dollars into the system. Addressing the fundamentals means that support industries so that you can also cure the demand side. If you don't cure the demand side and the demand side start coming in, then it will dismantle all your policies and you may not be able to focus to do what you're supposed to be doing. So I think that this year the government will try as much as possible, and also to get public sympathy, and also to get public confidence that the government is able to manage the economy, and everybody is watching the cedi-dollar relationship. So if I were in the government shoes, I think I would do everything possible to tame it.
You hear the financial analyst and lecturer at the University of Professional Studies, Dr. Beatrice Adu, speaking there. Now, Ghana's service producer price inflation rate saw a decrease in April 2025, falling to 5.9%. This marks a 1.3 percentage point reduction from the 7.2% recorded in March 2025, indicating a slowdown in the year-on-year increase of prices received by service providers. Month-on-month, the service producer price inflation increased by 0.9% between March and April 2025, meaning that on average, producers earned slightly more for their services in April compared to the previous month. This report has the details.
The president praised the city performance agent company.
A closer look at the subsectors reveals varied performances. Accommodation and food service activities, along with transportation and storage, continue to show strong performance. Within the transportation sector, land transport recorded a producer inflation rate of 21.7% in April 2025. Air transport saw a significant increase of 7.4 percentage points, reaching 22.1% from March 2025. Postal and courier activities, however, maintained an unchanged inflation rate of 8.5%. In the hospitality sector, accommodation activities experienced a producer inflation rate of 20.4% in April 2025, while food and beverage service activities increased to 21.6% from 20% in March. Within the information and communications, programming and broadcasting activities registered the highest inflation at 20.8% in April, followed by publishing activities at 4.6%. The inflation rate in telecommunication activities remained stable in April 2025.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report, bringing an end to Business Daily here on 3FM 92.7. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obudu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Urban Blend is next. Stay tuned.